On the far outside, it'll be UC Irvine out of 5, and St. Joseph's will be coming out of lane number 6. They're at the stake boats.
Are you guys ready to do this?
Finish it. Nah, fuck it, he's gonna do it for twice. To start.
Ladies and gentlemen, an absolutely proud sponsor of the San Diego Crew Classic would be San Diego National Bank. They're local. They're in it for you. Check with San Diego National Bank, a local San Diego company. Contact them at www.sdnb.com. San Diego National Bank.
University of San Diego, Stanford, Clemson, UCSB, UCI, St. Joseph.
We'll go between 1 and 2. We used it again. Yeah.
Attention. Go.
And they're away in the women's college novice petite final. All crews have got away cleanly. No immediate leader, although on the far side, St. Joseph's seem to have taken the lead of about 3 feet, but they are closely followed by Clemson. As they go through the 100-meter mark, it's Clemson and the University of San Diego and Stanford. St. Joseph's got a flying start, seem to lose momentum just a little bit. It's Clemson moving out now. As we come up to the 250-meter mark, Clemson will have about 2 rowers on the field, 2 seats. But the University of San Diego and Stanford are pushing hard at them, and St. Joe's have got into gear again, and they've checked the slide. UC Santa Barbara and UC Irvine are overlapping the rest of the field, but they're starting to slide back on their competitors. As we come to the mid-mark and the second 250 and the first 500, it's Clemson who have moved out further. St. Joe's are following them. St. Joe's and Stanford will be level pegging. University of San Diego are falling back just a little bit, and it's Irvine who have picked up a new burst of speed and have moved past UC Santa Barbara and are challenging the University of San Diego. As we come up to the 500-meter mark, it's Clemson, followed by St. Joseph's, followed by Stanford, followed by the University of San Diego and Irvine and UC Santa Barbara, but 2 boat lengths would cover the whole field.
It's nice to have such a competitive race as we get down to the end of our racing day. Women's Collegiate Novice Petite Final is on the water right now. Looking at lane assignments, in lane number 1, it's the University of San Diego. Stanford is in lane number 2. Our current leader is Clemson, and they're rowing out of lane number 3. Out in the 4 lane is University of California, Santa Barbara. And in the 5th lane, it will be Irvine, UC Irvine. And challenging on the far outside is the crew from St. Joseph's. The call through 500 meters indicated that Clemson was on the lead, being challenged by St. Joseph's, then Stanford, University of San Diego, Irvine, and Santa Barbara. Continuing on the lead is Clemson. And they are now being shadowed on the inside, their inside lane, by Stanford. Way out on the outside, St. Joseph's ran into some sort of problem. Nothing to stop them, but they certainly made a couple of course corrections in their lane 6 out there, and they have lost the momentum. Currently, Clemson is not being challenged by anyone. The closest crew to them appears to be Stanford, although USD along the shoreline is beginning to make a bit of a move. St. Joseph seems to have regained their rhythm on the far outside and beginning to close down a little bit. And then we have UC Irvine. Check that. Then we have Santa Barbara and UC Irvine. St. Joseph's on the far outside was making a challenge, and when they came into the windswept area, it seemed to bother them, and they veered out a little bit. But they have begun to regain their rhythm and apparently are beginning to challenge Clemson on the outside. So we're looking at Clemson in lane 3 and St. Joseph's all the way out in lane 6. The two of those appear to have opened up some water length between Stanford and along the shoreline, the University of San Diego. In lane number 5 in 5th position is UC Irvine, and the Santa Barbara crew is trailing. They are approaching 500 meters to go in this race. And St. Joseph's apparently corrected their problem, but how much of a impairment to their momentum that they had going there for a short time, we'll have to see. Maybe they have something left. Clemson on the lead, St. Joseph's on the outside, and those two crews have opened up some open water to Stanford, while the University of San Diego seems to have had a little problem with wind and speed in that area as well and dropped back right around the 500-meter mark. This is Clemson on the lead on the far outside. The only crew that is anywhere in their neighborhood is St. Joseph's. Then we have open water back to Stanford, and then kind of a tight boat race between USD on the shoreline, and on the outside, the University of California Irvine with Santa Barbara trailing. Clemson inside 250 meters, continuing to hold on to the lead. St. Joseph's still settled into a mid-course stroke count, and both of them have quite a lead over our 3rd place crew, which would be Stanford. Stanford then to the outside to Irvine, Santa Barbara, and USD on the shoreline, struggling a bit after challenging in mid-course. This is Clemson. Clemson with open water over St. Joseph's. Open water coming back to Stanford. Then along the shoreline, the University of San Diego looking outside to Irvine, and Santa Barbara trailing. And looking back to our finish line, it apparently is going to be Clemson, the unofficial winner of our last race of the day today. Then on the outside, St. Joseph's, who at one time challenged but lost a little bit of ground by veering off course slightly. And then coming across is Stanford. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd certainly like to thank you very much for being a part of our San Diego Crew Classic 2008 Day 1. San Diego Police Department, Sheriff's Department of San Diego County, the California Highway Patrol, and the Harbor Patrol ask you to please drive home defensively and return to Mission Bay for the San Diego Crew Classic 2008. Action will start tomorrow morning at 7:20. Also like to remind you that you can pick up a DVD of a race that you might be interested in. They're available in the merchandising tent. And I hope you enjoyed all of the outstanding action of the San Diego Crew Classic on day 1. And we'll have much more of that action tomorrow, especially considering the fact that we'll have several championship races pitting crews that did very well in the early going here today.